I was a night janitor at Blackwood Asylum, a crumbling psychiatric hospital where the line between sanity and madness blurred under flickering fluorescent lights. The head psychiatrist, Dr. Evelyn Marrow, ruled the place like a queen, her reputation for experimental treatments both revered and feared. When her estranged son vanished inside the asylum's labyrinthine halls, she turned the institution into her personal hunting ground, interrogating patients and staff with a ferocity that bordered on unhinged. I tried to stop her, to expose the truth, but she wielded her influence like a weapon, threatening my livelihood and turning my small town against me. So I played her game, flipped the board, and unraveled her life in ways she never saw coming. It started on a stormy November night in 2024. Dr. Marrow brought her 19-year-old son, Caleb, to the asylum for what she called a reconciliation visit. He'd been distant, rebellious, struggling with addiction since his father's death. She thought showing him her work, her legacy, might bridge the gap. She left him in her office to take a call, but when she returned, he was gone. An hour later, I found her in the East Wing, kneeling in a pool of blood, clutching Caleb's jacket. His body was sprawled in a locked isolation room, a syringe still dangling from his arm, his eyes wide open, staring at nothing. The scream that tore from her throat echoed through the asylum, a sound that haunts me still. From that moment, Dr. Marrow became a woman possessed. She didn't sleep, didn't eat, just stalked the halls, her white coat stained with coffee and grief. She interrogated every patient, every orderly, every janitor, myself included, offering rewards for information, extra meds for patients, bonuses for staff, even promises of early release for the less dangerous cases. I watched her sob in the break room, then slam her fist into a mirror, the shards cutting her knuckles as she muttered, "I'll find who did this." She installed new cameras, ones only she controlled, and started locking patient files in her office, claiming it was for security. 2 weeks after Caleb's death, she showed up reeking of whiskey, her eyes bloodshot, and declared a new protocol: anyone who didn't cooperate would be deemed complicit. She singled out a patient, Marcus Reed, a paranoid schizophrenic with a history of violent outbursts. She was convinced he'd lured Caleb into that isolation room, though there was no evidence. She forced Marcus into enhanced therapy sessions in the basement, a place we all avoided, where the old electroshock machine still hummed faintly. I overheard her telling the head nurse, "If he won't talk, I'll make him scream." The asylum's atmosphere grew toxic. Patients whispered about Dr. Marrow's late-night sessions. Staff who questioned her were reassigned to graveyard shifts or fired outright. She threatened my job, too, when I hesitated to scrub bloodstains from the basement floor. "You're either with me or against me, Ethan," she said, her voice like ice. "And if you're against me, I know where your daughter goes to school." My stomach churned. My 12-year-old Lily was all I had left after my wife's accident. I couldn't risk her safety. One night, while mopping the West Wing, I heard muffled cries from below. The basement door was ajar, a rare oversight. I crept down, the air growing colder with each step. Through a rusted grate, I saw Marcus strapped to a gurney, his face bruised, his fingers twitching as Dr. Marrow loomed over him with a syringe filled with something unlabeled. "Tell me what you did to my boy," she screamed, her voice cracking. A tray beside her held scalpels, vials, and a cattle prod that sparked when she tested it. Marcus was babbling, incoherent, his eyes rolling back. I pounded on the grate, shouting her name. She spun around, her face a mask of rage and desperation. "You're spying on me?" she hissed, storming toward the grate. "You think you can judge me?" I yelled that she had no proof Marcus did anything. She froze, then laughed, a hollow, chilling sound. "Proof? My son is dead. That's all the proof I need." She returned to Marcus, injecting something that made him convulse. I kept banging, my hands bruising, until she opened the grate just enough to stare me down. Blood speckled her coat. "You saw nothing," she said, her voice low, "or Lily might have an accident on her way to school." Behind her, Marcus's screams turned to whimpers. I backed away, my heart pounding, knowing I was in over my head. The next morning, I found a new schedule pinned to the break room board. I was assigned to clean the basement during Dr. Merrow's sessions. She was testing me, ensuring my silence. I checked the security logs. My key card had recorded my presence near the basement last night. The cameras in that corridor were conveniently offline, a technical glitch she'd orchestrated. My phone buzzed with a text from my sister. Lily had mentioned Dr. Merrow visiting her school's career day, chatting with her teacher about community safety. The threat was clear. I dug into Marcus's file, accessed through a forgotten terminal in the records room. He'd been on a strict medication regimen, locked in his ward the day Caleb died. He couldn't have been near the isolation room. Dr. Merrow had chosen him because his history made him an easy target. No one would believe a schizophrenic over her. I tried to tell my co-worker Javier, but he cut me off. His brother worked for Dr. Merrow's husband years ago. Their families were tangled in ways I hadn't realized. "Don't make me choose sides, Ethan," he said, his voice heavy. "I can't afford to lose this job, Doctor." Merrow's grip tightened. She joined my church's grief group, cozying up to my pastor, sharing stories about Caleb that made congregants weep. My neighbor, a nurse at the asylum, started avoiding me after Dr. Merrow mentioned my unstable behavior at a town meeting. My own sister doubted me when I tried to explain, saying I'd been off since my wife's death. The gaslighting was masterful. She was rewriting my reality. I found my own incident report from 2 years prior, praising Dr. Merrow's innovative patient management. She'd kept it, a weapon to discredit me as a hypocrite. My daughter came home crying. Dr. Merrow's niece had told her I was trying to ruin a sad lady's life. The psychological warfare was relentless, seeping into every corner of my world. Desperate, I hacked into the asylum's old maintenance logs, discovering a hidden camera in the isolation wing, installed years ago for a discontinued experiment. It wasn't on Dr. Merrow's new network. The footage was grainy, but it showed Caleb entering the isolation room alone, injecting himself with a syringe he'd brought. No one else was there. He'd overdosed. A tragic accident or intentional act, not a murder. Dr. Merrow's crusade was built on a lie. I confronted her in her office, showing the footage on a USB drive. Her face crumpled, but then hardened. "You think this changes anything?" she whispered. "Someone has to pay." She offered me a deal. A promotion. A raise. If I deleted the footage and kept quiet. I refused. That night, my tires were slashed, and a note on my windshield read, "Lily walks home alone tomorrow." I became what I despised. I planted a vial of the same drug found in Caleb's system in Dr. Merrow's desk, tipping off the state inspector anonymously. I bribed an orderly to report hearing screams from the basement, creating a paper trail. I was playing her game, manipulating evidence to force an investigation. When the state board arrived, they found the vial, the complaints, and Marcus's medical records, which showed unapproved drugs in his system. Dr. Merrow's therapy notes, subpoenaed later, revealed her obsession with punishing the guilty, even mentioning Marcus by name. The asylum turned against her. Orderlies spoke up about her threats. Patients described her sessions. The board's investigation was swift but clinical. Dr. Merrow was removed, charged with patient abuse, and committed to a psychiatric facility for evaluation. Marcus was transferred to a new hospital, his records sealed. Caleb's death was ruled a suicide. His iPad's photos showing only blurry selfies. No answers. I lost everything: my job, my community, my sense of self. My daughter and I moved to a new town, where I took a job cleaning offices. The simplicity was a relief, but the screams from that basement still woke me at night. Dr. Merrow's remaining family fractured, her niece struggling with the fallout. The asylum implemented reforms, but Caleb's death remained a wound without closure. I'd exposed a monster, but in doing so, I'd become one too. Justice came, but it tasted like ash. My daughter asked if it was worth it. I told her I regretted not acting sooner, not saving Marcus before he broke. In the end, we all lost pieces of ourselves, but the truth, however hollow, was all we had left.